Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's a very exciting video because I haven't done a sit down video like this in quite a long time. So I'm excited and I hope you are too. Today I'm going to be telling you some tips that I use to take Instagram photos and how I have a cohesive feed and how I edit my Instagram pictures recently, because I get so many comments about ways that you can have an aesthetic or cohesive Instagram feed and just how I edit my pictures in general. So I'm going to share that today. All the tips, tricks, and secrets. And yeah, really quickly, thank you EPIK for sponsoring today's video. We're going to talk about them once we talk more about photo editing. But for now, let's get into some tips and tricks that I use when taking Instagram photos and some things that can be super helpful to you if you are taking them as well. So I have a list on my phone, so we're going to go off of that. The first thing, it's all about backgrounds. So it's really important to not have a super busy background. It doesn't mean you have to have a plain white wall as your background. That works too in a lot of different ways, but at the same time it's really fun to have like different scenery as your background. I like having nature mainly or walls, so it's a combination of both. I think certain things such as like plain walls, but also having greenery like trees or plants, or florals like plants that have flowers on them and like colors that you really like, or like colors of the flowers that match like the outfit you're wearing, is always a super win when you find that. Or if you live near the ocean like I do, taking photos near the ocean is always a good choice. But I know that's not accessible for everybody. And then also like just taking photos on the streets, like on sidewalks where you can see really pretty like buildings behind you, is a really good idea too. I always love photos like that, especially in like Laguna Beach where all the buildings are so cute, the street signs and all that. There's a lot of places in San Diego too, but I just tend to take more photos outside and like touristy photos when I'm not in San Diego because I live here. I also think it's important to make sure you stay away from like having a lot of people in the background of your photos, because one, it can ruin your photos if they are, I don't know, if they're making like a weird face or something. It can really distract the viewers of your photos from what the subject is, which is you. And also like if they're wearing colors that might like stand out really not in a good way in your photos, that's another reason. And it just makes your photos look a lot busier. So I just think staying away from people in the background of your photos is very important. You can always Photoshop them out if you're good at that. I am sometimes, it depends on the photo though. And lastly, with backgrounds, it's just really important to like switch up your backgrounds so that your feed looks more randomized and cohesive, rather than just you in front of a white wall in every single photo and just like in a different outfit. Unless that's the style you're going for, because I know a lot of like outfit Instagram accounts, they will obviously take it in the same spot everywhere but just wear a different outfit because that's like their brand and their niche, you know. So it all depends on like what your brand is and what your niche is. But for me, I like to switch it up. So if I post a beach photo, I'm not going to post another beach photo right after that unless my aesthetic is beach aesthetic. You know, I'll try to switch it up and do a lot of different backgrounds. Next key takeaway is lighting. And lighting is so important, so important. There's so many things to know about lighting in your photos. The first thing is that direct sunlight can be very harsh sometimes, and it could make you look either very washed out or very orange. Everyone says like golden hour is the perfect time to take photos, which it can be if that's the look you're going for, because golden hour sunlight is very orange and golden. So it's gonna make your skin and everything look a lot more glowy, but it's also going to make you have more orangey tones in your skin. That can sometimes be kind of difficult to edit when it comes to making sure like the filters or the colors and all that is looking good together. Also, it's really important to avoid the sun coming from on top of your head. So like, I don't know what time of day, like 12, around noon, I'm assuming, is when the sun is like straight above you. And that's because if it's shining down on you, it's gonna cast really weird shadows on your face, and your nose might look very bright, where your other facial features are gonna look really dark because that's the way the sun is hitting you. And then along with that, it's important to obviously avoid the sun coming from behind you, because it is gonna make you look very shadowy and no one's really gonna be able to see you that well. But sometimes those photos can look really good. So it all depends, but generally if you're like getting into taking pictures or starting to take selfies and stuff like that, those things I feel like are very important and just general. Next are all about angles. So angles are so important. I find that slightly lower angles are a lot more flattering. So it's not going to be super low, like no camera on the ground while you're standing, like that's too low. But I'm saying like if you're taking a photo for someone, you can either stand here and make it straight at them, or you can lower it a little bit and tilt it up and that's gonna make everything look a lot better. I've been attempting to get my husband to master this, and I think he finally has the angles, all the angles, which is good. He knows to like lower and then angle it upwards, just because that is a lot more flattering. And with that, it's kind of important to avoid high angles, because I don't know if that used to be like a trend or something to take selfies like this, but one, it makes your head look really big. It might make your top half look abnormally large too, which I feel like that was like the old way to take selfies, but the new way to take selfies is definitely from a lower angle, which is just shows how things can evolve over time. But also, along with lower angles, straight angles can work so well too. And I love having a straight on shot of just me like at eye level. That's always a really good idea too. My next two tips are all about taking the photos themselves. So there are two tricks that I have. The first one is the shutter feature on your phone. So I'm gonna show you really quickly. When you pull out your camera like this is the camera button, obviously. If you take it and quickly drag to the left, you'll see that it's counting up. It's already at 40. So that is taking shutter photos and bursts. And that's so cool because you can go back into the photos. They're all gonna look the same. You press select and you can scroll through all the photos and see all of them. And it's so good to take like candids like that, because it's a lot more proactive to do the shutter feature than just taking photos like this, because you're gonna miss something. You're gonna miss a good cute face if you're taking photos like this, but when you do the shutter, it literally takes every single moment. And then also, this app called Lens Buddy is my best friend for taking photos. You can easily take photos by yourself, which is what I usually have to do most of the time, because I live with my husband, but when he's not here is when I usually take my photos. So you just set up your camera. It's a self-timer app, so you set the camera up, you can adjust how many photos it takes before it stops, how many seconds in between each photo it takes. So usually I'll set the settings to like infinite photos and like until I press stop on it basically, and then every 2 seconds. So in those 2 seconds I'll be able to like repose so that it can take it again, and it's the best thing. I have no clicker involved, nothing, and the photos just look so good. All right, now we're gonna get into the actual editing portion of the video and how I've been editing, the best editing app, and all around everything that's gonna help you have an aesthetic and cohesive feed. I'm so excited for you guys. And what's so cool about the EPIK app is that it is free, so anyone can download it and use the features that come with the app. It's amazing. You guys need it. And really quickly, you can download the app in the link in my description box below and get it for yourself, again, for free. All right, I'm gonna start a screen recording because we're gonna go in and start editing some photos. I'm gonna choose some random photos in my camera roll and we're gonna get rolling. So this is the EPIK app right here on the bottom portion. It's the black and white one. So I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna press start editing. And here's where you're gonna choose the photos that you wanna edit. So I'm just gonna go through my selfies folder and try to find one that I want to edit. So I took this one the other day when I was tanning in my backyard. So let's load this one on here. So there are so many things you can do with this app. So first off, when you first open it, it has all of these features right here, which I do not use, but the patch one sometimes is very, very good to use if you have something in the background that you don't want and like that you want to take away. I don't have anything in this photo though. And yeah, I typically go straight into filters because they have so many filters that are so good for so many different photos. As you can see, when you go through these, they're all so different. And there's no way that you can't find one that you like because there are so many different options and they're all in different categories. So right now we're in Indie Kid, a bunch of those. Cinnamon, it's a more like neutral looking vibe. Natural, also very, very neutral and basic filters, which I love. Golden Hour is really pretty. Like, look at these colors. It just makes it so beautiful. And then there's just so many more. The one I've been using recently is in the Polaroid section, and it's Inst 2. And I like to change it about 50%. I don't want really, really harsh filters on my photos, but I like having some type of color change just so you can tell there's a filter on there. Go into Adjust. And I automatically go into brightness, brighten it a little bit. And whenever I raise the brightness in the photo, I also raise the contrast, just so it doesn't lose that like sharpness of the photo. And sometimes I'll go into saturation, but in this photo, it doesn't need it. I feel like the colors are really pretty enough. Sometimes I'll go into sharpen and sharpen the image, but this one, I feel like maybe needs a little bit, yeah. I've been so into using grain on my photos. I think it's because my wedding photographer puts grain on her edits, and I just love the style of it, so I've started to do it on mine as well. So we're gonna add a little bit. Let's do like 25. I feel like that's a good balance. And yeah, so this is basically what I will do. Sometimes I will also go into HSL right here, and this is such a cool tool, you guys. Basically, it brings up all the colors that are in the photo: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink. So let's say my blanket. You see my towel, it's very green. I'm not really digging the green color. You'll go into saturation, you'll just lower the saturation so the color isn't as vibrant and saturated. You can also go into lightness to make it lighter or darker, just so it matches more. Honestly, I feel like the darker towel fits in more in the photo. You can also change the hue. So if you don't want a green towel and you want a blue towel, you can do that too, which is honestly, I think, what I'm gonna do. It's a little deceiving, but the blue, I always make the sky a lot brighter and change the lightness of the sky to make it a lighter blue, because it fits with the feed better, because the sky can be so many different colors in so many different photos, even if you use the same filter on it, because the sky can be so many different shades of blue, and I don't know how. So many brightnesses. So I like to do that, and you can also change the hue to a more turquoisey blue or more purpley blue, but I like to keep it in the middle. So that is what I like to do. And then this little thing in the bottom right corner of the photo, you can see the before and after. And as you can see, it's still a very natural edit, but it looks so good. I just know it'll match. So I'm gonna save that because it's actually a really cute picture, and I might end up posting that. Let's edit another one though. Let's go into the portrait album. I feel like there's some cute pics in here. Okay, next I've found this picture, which I actually took in Laguna Beach when we were on our little mini honeymoon. And I think this is a really cool picture because it has the background that I was talking about. Like, it's kind of busy, but also at the same time it's not, because it's a white wall, flowers, florals. When it's natural busyness, I feel like it's different than if it's like a busy street of people. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm gonna edit this one for you like I just edited the other one. So the filter that I usually go straight for is in Polaroid, like I said, and we're gonna turn it down to 50. We're gonna go into adjust, turn the brightness up, contrast up. For this photo, actually, I'm gonna turn the brightness a little down because it's already pretty bright. And then we're gonna go in HSL, and this changes all the colors, like I said. So the bricks are pretty faded. So I'm just gonna turn up the saturation a little bit in that because it looks kind of cool with the bricks to me. And if you wanna change your skin tone, which I'm guilty of doing sometimes, because sometimes it'll look really washed out and faded and like you have no color to your skin, when in real life you do. So it's cool to change the saturation up for your skin. But if you change it up even a little bit, it will make it look very orange. So it's important to also go in the brightness and lightness section and turn it up or down to make it not as orange. And then also the hue can be really helpful too. If you're looking a little yellow, you can change it to more red tone so that it's more true to your actual skin color. And I also like to go in the yellows and usually turn a lot of the yellows down so that the whites can be brighter, because sometimes even if you have a white wall, there is sometimes like a yellow cast on it, which can just make your photos look a lot better when it's a bright white. So I like to do that. So I'll save that there. We're gonna go back into sharpen this photo a little bit, and also go into grain and make it, what did I make the other one? Like 25. There we go. Here's the before and here's the after. I think it's really, really pretty, and just really pretty colors in general. So I'm gonna save that one as well. That's basically how I've been editing. There's also so many other things that you can do on this app that I need to show you. You can go into effects, and what this does is you can just add so many different things to your photos to make them look really, really cool and unique. Like this. This is crazy. It adds motion to your photos, you change the intensity, and it keeps the subject on you, which is cool. Add sunlight, so there's this little rainbow. You can do the glitch effect, which is always really cool. Blinds, this one's really cool if you're like standing in front of a white wall like I am right now, and if I took a photo and I added blinds on it, it's really cool because it looks like the sun is coming through the window, and then it's like golden hour with you, and it actually looks so legit and so real. So I love that. There's just so many different things you can do on this app, and to make your photos look so cool and unique and have your own editing style. You can also add stickers if you want to, with so many different fonts to choose from, and just a lot of different things. So that, my friends, is how I've been editing my Instagram photos. I'm really trying to have a more cohesive feed for summer, especially because I feel like during summer and spring you take a lot of like similar vibed pictures with like your outfits and stuff. All I've been posting recently is my wedding photo albums, because the wedding photos have come back, and that just means that that's all I want to share with you guys, because that's like what my life has consisted of the past couple months. But I love you guys, and I hope you took something out of this video that is going to be super helpful for you in taking photos and editing your photos and making everything look so good together. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. Thank you, EPIK, for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.